Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on Priority version 21.1 and the new features and updates it includes. My name's Jamal, and I'll be guiding you through the best new aspects of Priority version 21.1 and how these features can improve your day-to-day business processes, as well as potentially show you some new features that maybe you hadn't considered before. If anyone has any questions, please use the Q&A box at the bottom of the page, and I'll endeavour to answer them all by the end of the presentation. What will we cover today? Today we'll be looking at the user interface and user experience improvements, Priority Mobile, localizations in the UK, multi-company accounting, basic system changes, and more advanced system changes as well. User interface and user experience updates. We'll begin by looking at the updated user interface and user experience features implemented by Priority in version 21.1. Firstly, you'll notice that when I go to an area of the system that I've not been to before, I'll receive a message similar to the one you see on the PowerPoint, and this will explain the new functionality with the option to find out more info or to hide the message and not see it again. This is an extension of the basic help text, but it's more responsive, automatically appearing at the point of being used. Next, we can look at the changes made to the field help, F1, in that it now appears in a bubble pointed at the field in question. Another new bit of functionality is the ease of access of the help screen. This now appears at the top of every form. So if we open a new form, for example, customers, and we click the help button, which now appears on every form next to the exit form button, a side panel instantly opens showing you the help for the form in addition to videos, SOPs and FAQs related to working within this form. You can read the content in the side panel or open it in Priority Expert. Now, as we move back to the home page, Priority have actually added a search list functionality within the input step in reports. So if we open a report, for example, customer contacts, the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is the new PDF file tick box. This means you can now run any report in PDF as opposed to HTML. If we hit OK, we now get to the input step. Whereas before you'd have had to have gone into the form and select the relevant inputs, you can now simply press the down arrow and select as many or as few as you want, press OK, and if, for example, we made a mistake, we can simply just hit the X button. Now when we press OK, we get rid of one, press OK, and it will now run our report for us. If we get rid of that, we're now going to go back into the presentation and move on to the new features in Priority Mobile. Not working with Priority Mobile yet? Get in touch for a full demo on all the features and a discussion on how to optimize your business with Priority Mobile. Now, first up, Priority Mobile added further helpful accessibility features, such as for any users that use text readers on their mobile devices, they will now enjoy a voice guide within the Priority Mobile app. This includes simple and clear navigation using common gestures such as slide and double tap. Next, if we look to the screen, we can actually see Priority Mobile live on the screen in front of you. Your sales reps or technicians can now save time when going to see clients with the improved connection to your map app. If I open up the Sales Orders app and I move this over to the right, you can see that you have the option to open your route planner. This will then take the address specified against the customer record and open a route within your Google Maps, other map apps available. So if I click go, that's going to take me from my current location to the location of the customer. When I go back into Priority Mobile, we actually have the option opening the customers form, bringing back some data. And if we select a particular customer, you can now email, phone or text contact directly from Priority. So if I select this one and choose my email, it's going to pop in the customer's contact email and open up my email app. And it works the same way for phone calls as well. Now, if we go back in again and we go back to our sales orders, if we find a draft sales order on the system, which we've got one here, they've added to the app the option to add remarks. So this is now writable and amendable in the system, and you can even change font, add bold or italics. This customer only accepts deliveries in the morning. Please contact before delivering. You can save that and it will save your changes. And you also have the option to add notes as well, which will go into your notes. Discuss with Sharon, and we can save that as well. Close that down. And now if we jump back into Priority, we are looking for Teach Tree, which I think is actually this one, 005. Open up the remarks. This customer only accepts deliveries in the morning. Please contact before delivering. And in our notes, discuss with Sharon. And that's happened in real time. You can also add attachments in the same way through that. Now, if we go back into the PowerPoint, it's also important to note that now on Priority 21.1, your field agents can now clear over-the-counter invoices and receipts from their Priority mobile app. Click to Sign. Priority have had Click to Sign for a little while now, and Click to Sign is the most secure and versatile web/cloud/server-based digital signature software platform. It allows you to implement e-signatures with the click of a button using a single e-signature platform. Now, Click to Sign have updated some features alongside Priority. Now, to be able to view the signer name on a signed document, they've added a signed by tag to the Microsoft Word templates, which displays the name of the contact who signed the document. To use this option, add the tag to the relevant print format. Also, the signing mechanism has been adapted to suit private customizations and allow you to add your own logic that's activated as part of the signing process. And you can also now cancel automated emails for documents from the BPM form, and this option is particularly useful when you want to send emails with your own private signing logic, as mentioned previously. Also, the Click to Sign interface now supports organizations that use a different logo for each branch. If you're not yet working with Click to Sign or would like any further info, please do get in touch. Now we move on to the customer EORI number. This is a localization produced exclusively for the UK region. As you can see on the slide, you set this up on the customers form, and so you can see it there. Put in the EORI number of your customer as you would normally. And this actually then pulls through onto the shipping document on the standard format, and also on the standard format of the invoice. This change happens as standard when you upgrade to version 21.1. However, if it's not showing, it may be just because it's hidden. Moving on now to some small but significant changes within Priority 21.1, starting with the customer price list form. So if we just jump back to the home page, we can open the price list form. So we can see now that Priority have added an expiration date as well as a start date, allowing you to plan for price changes in advance and report on them with ease, taking away the issue of having to upload your new list on the morning of price changes or have multiple lines in the sub-level, each with different start dates. So multiple for the product multiple times in the sub-level, each with different start date in order to change the time. This makes it much easier for you to future plan within your business. And also it's important to note that this also exists on the vendor price list form as well, and it works in exactly the same way. Now, if we open up the vendors form, Priority have added the ability to measure your vendor's performance. Vendors will be automatically ranked based on ratings you give them for compliance with delivery times, allowing you to make business decisions based on this information. So let's have a look at a couple of vendor scores. First, I'd like to show you 20006, and if we pull that back, we can see over on the right hand side that this vendor is rated 100. Now this is a good thing. The higher the rating, the better. That means they have not had any late deliveries, at least none that have been recorded in the system. Now if we look at 20002, we can see that this vendor is rated 89. This isn't so good. This means they probably had 2 or 3 late deliveries. So as I said, the higher the rating, the more on-time deliveries your vendor has produced. This is particularly useful when trying to choose between 2 similar vendors and with similar prices. You now know that you're more likely to get your products on time from the first vendor than the second one. Another feature that's been added is the ability to open a purchase order based upon a vendor price quotation. Now, of course, we've been able to open a sales order from a quote for a long time now. However, we've never had an action to open a PO directly from the vendor price quotation form. So I've got one here, a vendor price quotation that I opened earlier. We can see it here in draft. So all we need to do is just authorize this, back up to the top, drop down the list, and find Open Purchase Order for Quote. Let that run, and it's going to give you this option. If you press OK, it's going to pull you through to the purchase order, and it's going to open a purchase order in the same way a sales order would open, leaving it there in draft status for you. Now, the final bit in this section is that Priority have made changes to the returns from customer system 2. You can now block customer returns. How you do this is choosing a customer status, flagging it as block customer returns, and you then set up how many days you would like to give leeway for. So, for example, I've set it to block any customer returns that don't come within 14 days of delivery. So if I open up the customer returns form and I put the shipping document number in, When I drop to the sub-level, it's going to tell me that the last date for returning goods has passed. Now, as you can see, this is just a warning message, so you can override it, but it does give you that bit of information to say, look, this shipment was sent over 14 days ago. Are you sure you want to accept it? You can also have a look at more info, which will give you a bit of info to tell you why you're getting that message. I can say OK and carry on if I want, or I could have said cancel and just removed that. I'll go back into the PowerPoint. We're going to look at some inventory functionality that is coming to priority. We're going to start with a feature that's been requested a lot over the years, and that is inventory allocation from the sales order. Now, I've got some sales orders here. Got one for Peachtree, so let's open that one up. I've got a few there. So what we need to do is we need to first confirm this sales order that I've got here. We've got our quantities and prices in there already. Come back up to the top level, go to actions, and we're going to allocate the inventory for the order. Now it's going to give me some options. Do I want to allocate the inventory? Yes, I do. I don't want to allocate it all separately. I want it all on one picking list. And which warehouse do I want? I want it from the main warehouse, but you can drop that down and choose which you would like. Press OK. Let the system run, and it should open a picking list for you and give you a message to say it's done so. It does take a minute. So I think that is done. For some reason it hasn't popped up the message, but we can easily check it if we go to inventory transactions, sales inventory transactions, packing slip. Get ourselves back in the multi-record view. Excuse me. We pick Peachtree. Wait, no, I was right the first time. Do that. And it's finalised that for us already. We can see that that matches up, and that has worked. For some reason the message didn't pop up on this occasion. If we jump back into the PowerPoint now, we can discuss the next new feature in the inventory section, which is warehouse transaction control. This feature has been implemented to give greater control over who can access stock on a bin-by-bin basis. For example, if you have a bin with high-value metals in it, this new feature will allow you to block access to that stock being used, so perhaps only the production controller can access it or authorise its use. Another new addition to the inventory module is the part setup procedure. We can run through this procedure now. When we run this procedure from inventory parts, we can create a part and assign the various definitions for the part quickly in one program instead of making all these definitions in different forms. You can see on the input screen all of the key info from the top level of part form, and you're able to just input that here instead. So we can start off with part number, and this is going to be a small gasket. That's going to be a P-type part, so we can change that there as well. We've got our units here, I'm going to keep those as eaches, and it's going to be part of the default part family. I'm going to keep that selected as inventory control, but I can also add an image if I choose to. I'm just selecting an image now. It's going to be a funny looking gasket, but let's move on. And it should then pop out a second screen which has your financial parameters. We can select a VAT group for it, perhaps it's a reduced rate, and if we have any budgets we can select those there as well as accounting families. As we move on, so that's the financial parameters done, we can select the safety stock. I want 150 in these at all time. We'll select a minimum for work order of 10, and we'll do that in increments of 5. And the max for the work order 20. And I'm just going to leave the demand range at 0. So that's the purchasing details done. And then we can select where it mainly is. So we've got it in the main warehouse and in the bin. So we can press OK on that one. We can then select the routing from here. So I'm going to put it in the laminating routing. And also, really importantly, we've got a few tick boxes above there, but we can decide whether this is a raw material or a work order. We can press OK on that, so it's going to be done through work orders because it's a P-type part, and it can be manually issued. We'll press OK. It's going to tell us that it's created the part small gasket. Do I want to go and open the part catalogue? Yes, I do. And we can see it here. It's got the picture in, and it's got those extra details that we have added as well. It's a very quick and easy way to get all of your key data into the system and create new parts with ease. Priority have also added the ability to run MRP by branch. This will work in exactly the same way as regular MRP. However, for large companies with multiple branches, this will give them greater freedom and flexibility to run their purchase planning and schedule their production on a branch-by-branch basis, enabling greater efficiency and controlled planning. We now look at a major change that is likely to affect a lot of customers and how they work. This is the change from EDI to MDM, which stands for Master Data Management. There are a lot of updates to the MDM within this module, so I'll briefly discuss each point, and if you need any further assistance, please do get in touch. It's also worth noting that following any upgrades to version 21.1, electronic interfaces will need to be reconfigured. So, what changes have been added to make this go from EDI to MDM? You can add a company to the data exchange program to select the interfaces in which you want to add a new company. With the Send All Records via Interface program, you can send all of the table columns that meet the criteria defined in the interface. And when using the Send with Data Exchange program under the Options menu Mail in a form, you can select to which companies the data will be sent. You can also choose to send only one record or all of the records in the form that meet the criteria defined in the interface. Please note the changes in this version and the previous version, 21.0, affect all EDI users upgrading to this version. Changes in version 21.0 include the integration of the data exchange into the application server and adding the ability to run interfaces in parallel. Both lead to a significant leap in interface performance. Finally, we can discuss changes to the finance system. Priority have focused their efforts on ensuring that multi-company businesses have more ability and support to do multi-company functionality, such as multi-company budgeting. You can now set up a multi-company budget in the system. That is, a budget that has one allocation from which many companies can pull. You can view the budget use by each participating company through the various budget utilization forms and reports in the system. Priority have also increased the amount of multi-company procedures you can now run, such as opening and closing fiscal periods, opening numeration templates, setting a VAT reporting period, transferring opening balances, and more. As of version 20.1, Priority added revenue recognition, and in version 21.1, they have improved this functionality. The allocation of value can be calculated in one of two ways. FBA1, which is allocation according to the price list price of one of the components and the automatic allocation of the rest to complete 100% of the total fair value. FBA2, allocation according to the price list price ratio of the components among themselves. For any more info on revenue recognition or a training session to get you started, please do contact support or Christine. That brings us to the end of today's webinar on Priority 21.1 features. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you feel the features included will be of some benefit to your business, please do get in contact to arrange an upgrade. We do have a number of other webinars online on our website, meditechuk.com, or on our YouTube, Meditech UK. And you can see a selection of topics on the screen right now. So I will now answer any questions you may have on what you've seen today. Let's have a look and see what questions we have. Okay. We've got a question here asking when the next version is released. Well, version 21.1 is actually available now. It's already out. So if you are interested, as I said before, please do get in contact and we can get the upgrade in progress. How often do Priority release new versions? Usually every 6 months. So 21.1 was the last released upgrade, and 22 will be the next upgrade, 22.0. How much does it cost to upgrade? Well, it depends on your current version. If you don't know what version you're on, let support know and they'll be able to tell you. We do have a few different options that we can discuss with you. One of those is the Silver Maintenance Package, which will allow you to get the latest version and stay on the latest version going forwards on a yearly basis. That would be sort of to allow you to control costs and ensure you're always up to date. Okay. Ooh. Are there any changes to the client interface or just the web? Well, some changes will naturally feature in both instances, like the part setup program that we looked at earlier. You'd be able to do that through client or web. But these new features are exclusive. There are new features that are exclusively designed for web use, and at this point, we do recommend that to get the full Priority user experience, that you make the switch to Priority Web at the earliest opportunity. And we'll talk you through it, and we'll show you the best options, and make sure that it's right for you. But yeah, we definitely recommend that you are on Priority Web to get the most out of the system. Okay, I can't see any more questions there. I will just give it a second. Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening. Hope it's been informative and enjoyable for you. And any questions, please do get in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye.